How are we going, everybody? Now today's topic, deadheading roses, suckers, when to prune your roses, how to prune your roses, quick tips on it. These are the roses, the standard roses that I have, that our lovely horse Krishna came in and ate all the tops off. So they haven't had their flowers yet for this season. So they're about to put on their first flush of flowers, which in fact is about the time the second flush should be getting ready to burst out. Now they've come up beautifully. They're really healthy because we do look after them really well. And we've got a sucker coming up. If you're looking at that there, that is the rootstock. We spoke about this 2 days ago about cutting out the suckers. It's happening on every type of plant, especially now with this warm climate and high moisture level that we're going through, the El Nino, whatever you want to call it. It's wet, it's warm, and it's full of nutrients, and the suckers want to grow. So you've got to cut them right back down to the ground. I'm going to try and get in here and do it. Let me just show you how big this one is. Which way I'm going to pull it out. It's going to snag on everything because of the pricks on it. Here we go. Have a look at this. Have a look at this beauty, eh? Huh? Just a bit taller than me, so it must be about 3 meters tall. That's huge. So that's what happens with your roses. They sucker up from the bottom, cut them off. Now, when it comes to deadheading, these ones don't need to be deadheaded. Geez, I'm looking around at all the suckers. There's another one over there. It's just sticking out the top of the plant, and it's a completely different leaf. You can tell it's a different plant because it's the rootstock that it's been grafted onto. And there are different types of rootstocks they use, but you know, it's not going to produce the same flower, obviously, and most times it's going to be a single red petal flower or dark crimson red. Come over here and have a look at these ones that didn't get eaten. Now these, because of the weather we've had, have probably spent their flowers quicker than I would have liked them to. But if we don't cut these back, you know what will happen? These will start to shoot up from here, and end up growing taller and taller. And that's all good and proper if you want to have a big sort of arching plant that's almost weeping because it's top heavy, but I reckon it's ugly. What we need to do is cut these right back down. These have been sprayed my secateurs with our moonshine. That's Metho, folks. We cut them back down just to above the foliage line. If I can say, look, that's gone. You can deadhead if you like up to there, but I think it's too far up because it's going to grow a new shoot anyway, and this hasn't started as yet. So, well, we got one there. See that there? That's already growing. It'll grow from the last cut or the tip or where the last leaf node is. So you can either cut it high and it'll sprout up from that point upwards, or you can cut it nice and low and keep it a bit more compact. Just like here, that's not too bad. It's just above the foliage line. Let me cut these ones here. Like that. And I was going to say earlier that in the past I've used hedge trimmers because I've got, 70, 80 roses to prune. I've used chainsaws, and people have done trials on their own with a hedge trimmer. So look at that. I'm not even thinking. Seriously, somebody call it out. Anyway, it'll grow back. Some people have done trials with the hedge trimmers and the chainsaws versus your secateurs. And at the end of the day, the plants recover really well. As long as you haven't torn the cut or, the cut you've made, you haven't left it damaged, it's going to perform well and keep it well fed. What we need to do is when we cut it, so you can get a better idea, if you cut it too high, that's called an undercut, which means that there, I'm cutting right underneath the top bud. And that will die back, and it'll cause dieback, and it can become canker, it can become anything, dead wood basically. You don't want that spread because viruses will get in, or it'll become viral. You need to cut it just as close to there. It's about 0.5 centimetre, 5 millimetres, or even up to 1 centimetre on a slight angle. I'm going to hold this, try and hold it so it doesn't spring off. Oop, there we are. There it is there. So that's the sort of cut you want to do. Plus or minus a few mil, it won't hurt it. So go around and prune off all the dead flowers, dead-headed as we call it, because you can get up to 3 flushes, if not 4, in the season, in the 1 or 2 seasons that we have, spring, summer. So the quicker you cut it, the quicker it reacts. And see what I do sometimes? I'll cut it back, for example, like this, pretty fast, as I am. But then I'll look back, and if I could see little pits sticking out like that, I prefer to go back down to a foliage line, to there. Right? I should have held the secateurs the other way. That's another story. But anyway, so cut it back to the foliage line. You can cut just above or right at the edge of the foliage line, and the plant will be very happy with you. And again, if you've got too many, just hedge trim them, feed them up well, And every time you prune, give them a good feed. Black grit, compost, manure and mulch. This garden bed needs to be mulched. All the suckers have to be cut out. And it's only two weeks or 3 weeks ago that I had this bed cleaned up completely. All the irises are gone, the weeds have come back, the suckers. You want to talk about suckers? Look at all this down here. What a mess that is, eh? And that is just going to continuously happen. It's the graft versus host disease as well, or rejection I should say. So sometimes the rootstock wants to take off. It's like when you put an arm on your body, new arm, and it doesn't work, you're going to go with only one arm. Forget about that, all right? A little bit of black spot here. This one's copped it. Have a look, all right? So we've got to feed this one up as well. I'm not going to spray it. If you need to spray it, you can use a bluestone-based fungicide or eco-fungicide, or you can use bicarb soda mixed with water, all that wonderful stuff. Milk as well, you know, milk and water 50-50. So many different ways you can protect it. Pick them off. You need to pick them all off. It's not going to hurt the plant. It's actually going to protect the plant, and you get rid of the virus itself. I'm going to leave it for now because it's too windy to do that. So feed your plants as soon as you prune them. Make sure you cut them back really well. Get your pair of secateurs, clean them well. We've got some super specials on this one as well too. It looks like the Falco range. Well, it isn't. It's the Ricet one. It's the top of their range, well, almost the top of their range, but is as good as any other secateur you can get out there, and at bargain prices as well. Up to 80% off everything online, folks. Our spring run out Black Friday is running till the end of November 30th, so you'll get up to 80% using the coupon code 3AW. And tune into 3AW if you just watch this as we've uploaded it, so you can listen to me and Darren talk about gardening and talk about all the crazy stuff we love doing in our garden. Vasili'sGarden.com and the magazine. Don't forget to subscribe, otherwise you'll miss out. From me, Vasili, Maresi.